47. I'm gonna say we're gonna let it run. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Even People Show. I am running so late today, but here we are. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Even People Show. Um, so yeah, I'm running a little late today. It happens, right? It does happen to the best of us. You know when you plan too much for your day and you think you got it, but you don't quite got it? My mic is wrong. Can you hear me now? Mic check 1 2. All right, but anyways, we're here, I'm here, you're here, and that's really all we need to get this thing going. Welcome to the Even People Show. This is your first time. I'm your host, Martin Matthews, and Martin Mandeville, whichever works. I'm an author. I like doing this. Of a book called Love, Life, Confrontation, Expression, Selections from the Chronicles of a Black Man. It's a book that's available on Amazon.com. It's a book that is available in Jamaica in Fontana pharmacies. But tonight, I have a nice show for y'all. It's going to be a quick show, I promise. And we're going to talk about soulmates. Why are we going to talk about soulmates? Because everybody kind of has their own idea as to how this go. You like, nah, I mean, so, now I mean, so apparently I say now I mean quite a bit. Somebody told me recently that, dude, why on earth do you say now I mean so much? It wasn't a Jamaican. So they asked me, what does it mean? And I said, you know what? I started catching myself saying now I mean. So I'm like, you know what? I should have a shirt that says now I mean. And here we are. I have a shirt that says now I mean. Now I mean. Clock how much times I says now I mean before the show is out. Anywho, we're going to talk about soulmates tonight, and I'm going to jump right into it. If you missed last week's show, check it out. We were talking about first dates. The week before, we were also talking about first dates. Last week was first dates 2.0, and we talked about some of the spectacular things that are involved in first dates. If you've never had it, if okay, I'm going to get my British accent here, mate. If you've never actually been on a proper first date, mate, you really got to do it, ain't it? Because it can be spectacular. I'll save that for later. All right, so soulmates, like I said, we're going to jump right into it. A soulmate is a person ideally suited for another as a close friend or a romantic partner. We're dealing with a soulmate. We're talking about a soulmate, and everybody kind of use these words. Everybody use this term, soulmate. But like I asked in the narrative for the show, what does that actually mean to you? What does a soulmate actually mean to you? You've used the term before, probably the term soulmate. What does it mean to you? Is there somebody in your life currently that you actually perceive as your soulmate? And if so, why do you perceive this person as your soulmate? What characteristics do they have? What have they done? What do you feel? What is it that makes you think that this person is your soulmate? And what kind of soulmate, if you even know that there are different kinds? And I guess more importantly is, what does soulmate actually mean to you? If you have some kind of experience, whether a little or a lot, with the term, what does it actually mean to you? Somebody being a soulmate, you having a soulmate, a person being your soulmate. Yeah. So let's jump into it. We are saying one definition of, let's see, Simone is on the ball today. She's saying it is unexplainable connection. An unexplainable connection. I like that. That makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside, Simone. So I'm gonna whisper it. But I like that unexplainable connection. Now we're gonna talk about that unexplainable connection when we talk about the past life soulmate. So let's do this. We said a soulmate is a person ideally suited for another person as a close friend or a romantic partner. That's one definition, right? Another definition, Vimbai totally agrees with you, Simone. So we're making progress here. We're making progress. It is a person who is perfectly suited for another in temperament, is another definition of a soulmate. It's a person that is perfectly suited for another person in temperament. So that kind of adds a different dimension to it, the dimension of temperament, right? So it can also be viewed as two people that strongly resemble each other in attitudes or belief. Two people who strongly resemble each other in attitudes or belief. That's a soulmate. That's a definition of a soulmate. I have two more definitions. One of them is a romantic or platonic relationship that is exclusive and lifelong. So it is a lifelong bond with somebody that can be romantic or platonic. Now, this definition kind of crosses into something different because it's saying, most people perceive a soulmate as a romantic bond. This definition is saying it doesn't have to be a romantic bond. It could be a romantic bond or it can be a platonic bond. Is that the way you perceived the soulmate before? Yeah. So we're getting into it now. The last definition I'm going to look at for a soulmate is someone you are deeply connected to, but not in a dependent and needy way. Someone you are deeply connected to, but not in a dependent or needy way. It's more like you guys are equals. You are equals, but because of the let's use Simone's definition, the unexplainable connection or the unexplained chemistry that you two have, you're drawn to each other, right? Now, in that same vein, we have four types. There are several types that people postulate. I'm going to deal with just four, and the four of them are the past life soulmate, the karmic soulmate, the healing soulmate, and the twin flame soulmate. Now, usually when I promise you a quick show, I don't have one, but I'm having one tonight, so stay tuned. The past life soulmate is like Simone pointed out, an unexplainable. You are unexplainably drawn to a person. And when you guys spend time together, you keep having this feeling of deja vu. Now, when you read into it, there's some hints of or some kind of belief, or I don't know how to put it, but there's some kind of belief in reincarnation that has to be tied to this particular type of soulmate. But it says it's somebody that when you come in contact with the person, you're unexplainably drawn to them. You have some kind of unexplained connection to them, and you often feel feelings of deja vu. So it's almost like you feel like, I know this person. Where do I know this person from? You experience something with them and you're like, this feels so familiar. It feels good, but it feels familiar. It is almost like I have done this before. This feeling that I'm feeling with this person is something that I know. I not only do I know it, but I have known it. I've known it for a long time. It feels so familiar. This is a past life soulmate. This is someone you come in contact with that. And last week when we were talking about first dates, we talked about the fact that you can actually be, you can actually feel the connection you have with someone from across the room. You could be at an event, you make eye contact with the person from across the room and you immediately sense the connection that you have with them. Maybe if you end up beside the person and talk to the person, that connection even gets stronger, and you all of a sudden start feeling these feelings of deja vu with someone that you just met. You have this unexplainable connection with someone that you just met, and we're saying that this person could be a past life soulmate. 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 This a past life soulmate. Yeah. And that's what that could actually be that's drawing you to this person. Another kind of soulmate is a karmic soulmate. Now, the karmic soulmate is kind of like the cause and effect soulmate. It's that person that you come in contact with that helps you evolve because of the experiences you guys have together. But they could be good or they could be bad. But at the end of the day, you're going to grow. This person is going to potentially help you to be prepared for your past life soulmate. But this person is a soulmate, but it's almost like the opposites that attract. Or it's like they get you into a sphere where, based on the dynamic that you guys have, it forces you to evolve. You know what I mean? So it is a soulmate. They're into your life. They come into your life. They serve a purpose, but it's not the purpose that we typically ascribe to soulmates. It's not the purpose that gives you the warm and fuzzies necessarily, but it does serve a purpose and it helps you go to that next level. Yeah. Another one we're going to look at is the healing soulmate. The healing soulmate is usually based on timing. So here, let me ask you all this. Have you ever met someone, say it is somebody that you've lost touch with? You knew the person, you lost touch with them for a long time, or it could also be someone that you just met, but you met them at a time in your life that you were going through something. But when you met the person, you started talking to the person, you felt comfortable talking to the person about that thing you were going through, even though you weren't comfortable talking to anybody else about it. And in that moment in time when probably you were at your most vulnerable or when you were hurting, you met someone who you were able to talk to, you were able to communicate with. That person helped you through a rough time. That person helped you get to that next level. You know what I mean? Took you through something that you were really, really struggling with, and the person just came at that moment in time that you needed that thing the most, and they helped you through it. That's a healing soulmate. That is somebody that is there, that the timing is just right. They're there to teach you something you didn't know. They're there to help you through some stuff. They're there to help you evolve. That's a healing soulmate. That's somebody that comes into your life almost to serve a specific function, almost as if it was a divine intervention type deal. I now knight thee, Sir Lancelot. They came in at that time that you needed a hero, and they were your hero, and they help you get through. Let's see what Vimba is saying here. So then, could you have more than one soulmate? Yes, you could. Yes, you can. But as we have identified, and the distinction that we need to make between what a soulmate is versus what a lot of people thinks a soulmate is or perceives a soulmate to be, is that it can be romantic, but it can also be platonic. You know what I mean? Like one of the definitions says, it's somebody that is ideally suited for another person as a close friend or a romantic partner. Another one says is a person who is perfectly suited for another person in temperament, right? In temperament. So, and I get why you asked that question too, because for me initially when I thought about it, and because I've never actually looked up what a soulmate is before, honestly. I thought I knew what a soulmate was just based on reading other things and having a concept of the word and being intelligent enough to think you understand what the word is. Oh my word. How about we look at this whole brand new dimension here? This brand new dimension says it could be, I think we're aiming for spiritual compatibility. It could be compatibility on a spiritual level. Now, how about that for a soulmate? How about you come in contact with a person that on a spiritual level, that person 100% gets you. That person is 100% the other half of the half that you are, and you two together make one. Like Simone says, we're talking about soul ties. We're talking about the other half. We're talking about that half that when you come together, you make that perfect whole. Soul ties, like Simone says. Barbara Matthews, I love you, my dear. If there was another Barbara Matthews in the world, I'd love them as much as I love you. Yeah, my cup is red tonight. All right, so that's another dimension there for soulmates. But yeah, we talked about the past life, the karmic, the healing. We delved into the why is my child watching my show? Not that I mind this child watching this show, but here we are. Hi, Madison. How are you, my dear? Why aren't you asleep? What is going on here? Wedding crashers type activity here tonight. All right, let's keep going. Um, Now let's talk about the twin flame for a little bit. Let's talk about the twin flame. Now, the twin flame, um, the twin flame is typically, I think, that soulmate that everybody thinks about. When people hear twin flame, or when not twin flame, when people hear soulmates, the twin flame soulmate is typically what I think people think about. And the name itself kind of hints at what it is. Twin flame, it's like a split soul. It's like Barbara Matthews said, the spiritual compatibility, that other half that comes together to make the whole. You know what I mean? Um, it's like you guys are there to challenge each other, to heal each other, to build each other up. It's almost like, wherever one falls short, the other is strong. Wherever one is strong, the other is short. You know what I mean? It's almost like this person is your total other half, legitimately your total other half. You know what I mean? I often say my parents are no good without each other. Yeah. Um, my mom can function without my dad. My dad can't function without my mom. He tries to function, but he can't. you know. And I wrote a poem for my parents back in the day. It's called "A Husband's Love," and I wrote it after hanging out with my dad and hearing him talk about my mom. And he talked about her in such a way that almost brought tears to my eyes. You know what I mean? In the sense that, like, dude, this long after you still drinking the Kool-Aid, like this long into the game, she's the guy you like that, bro. Yeah, you know, yeah, she got you, bro. And it was almost like something um I never understood until that moment. And when I heard it, it brought tears to my own eyes. It was special. It was magical, and it let me see something that I have never seen before. They were together. They've been my parents all my life. I've known them all my life, but I've never seen that. It was his actual window to the world. It was his actual what my mom is to him, what his significant is to him, what his soulmate is to him. And it brought about so many questions for me because I didn't understand a lot of things. I didn't know whether or not, what role spirituality played in that. I didn't know what them being Christians, if it played any role in it. I didn't know if their circumstances played any role in it. There were so many things that came to my mind that I didn't understand when I heard him talk about her like the way he did. But I knew it was special. I knew it was magical for him. I knew it was magical for them. And I'm happy for both of them, even today, even right here sitting now, I'm happy for both of them. But soulmates, like first dates, like we spoke about last week, can be magical. Last week we spoke about first dates, and we said you can actually have that moment where you meet someone, and that person that you meet just changes your life from that point onward. That person that you meet 25, 35, 45, 55 years later is still the person that does it for you.
It's still the person you want to tell every new experience you have. It's still the person that you want to share every awake moment with. You know, that person is your soulmate, and that's as beautiful gets. You know what I mean? As far as it relates to the man woman experience, man, well, let me leave it at man woman experience. That's as beautiful as it gets. Now, as I was looking into, I told you I have a quick show and I won't let myself get carried away because my battery has 37%. And I'm going to end this show before it dies. Um, as it relates to the soulmate experience, the one of the questions I wanted to ask you is, um, does a soulmate have to be somebody that you're romantically involved with? Now, with the different one of the definitions that we gave earlier in the show actually tells you that your soulmate actually does not have to be somebody that you're romantically involved with. And I think a lot of people out there think that a soulmate has to be somebody you're romantically involved with. Now, take a moment and ponder the notion. If your soulmate does not have to be someone that you're romantically involved with, what kind of possibilities does that open as to who your soulmate is? What possibilities does that open as to who in your life right now could actually be your soulmate? And because you're not romantically involved, you don't actually embrace the fact that they're your soulmate. You know what I mean? Another question I have for you is, does your soulmate have to be of the opposite sex? Can you have a same sex soulmate? And based on the definition of a same sex soulmate, it sounds to me like you can. But based on your interpretation all along as to what a soulmate is, did you perceive that before? Did you see that as something that was possible? Or does this muddy the water for you, knowing that your soulmate doesn't have to be someone that you're romantically involved in and it doesn't have to be someone of the opposite sex? Yeah? Today I have more questions to give than answers. Today I just want to scratch the surface a little bit as it relates to soulmates. Today I just wanted to broaden your definition of what a soulmate is and for you to go out there and now reevaluate the situation that you are in and ask yourself whether or not your soulmate is actually the person that has been there for you your entire life, but because you're not romantically involved with them, you didn't perceive them as such. Or because your definition as to what a soulmate is, you didn't classify that person in that particular category. However, that person has been there the whole time, and that person is your soulmate, and you should possibly embrace it. Know what I mean? Know what I mean? All right, let's see what people are saying. And do you both have to agree that you are both each other's soulmates? Now, this is a brilliant question. So I asked this question earlier as I was thinking about this, and it's like, can you be somebody's soulmate and they not be your soulmate? Can you be somebody's soulmate and they not be your soulmate? And I think it would depend on the definition of soulmate that you're using to define who a soulmate is or what a soulmate is. Can you be someone's soulmate and they not be yours? It's kind of like a best friend. Can you be somebody's best friend? You are their best friend, but they're not your best friend. Did I say that right? But it's almost like you perceive this person as your best friend, but that person has somebody else that they perceive as their best friend. You know what I mean? They perceive you as a good friend. You perceive them as your best friend, but they have somebody else that they perceive as their best friend. You know what I mean? Is that how the soulmate thing works? Can somebody be your soulmate, but they're not yours. You are their soulmate, but they're not your soulmate. They have somebody else that they perceive as a soulmate. You know what I mean? And it muddies the water a little bit, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. If it is a case, and I think that can be the case. I think you can be somebody's and they not be yours. And there could be a lot of reasons tied to that. It could be that, because remember, we're all individuals, we're all product of our circumstances. Yeah. And sometimes it could be that you guys are, soulmates as most people perceive it to be, twin flames, but they have something else going on that hasn't cleared their own mind to perceive you as such in that moment. You know what I mean? Um, so it could be that, they ultimately are going to become your twin flame, but right here, right now, they're not. Their head isn't clear enough to even perceive you as such or to even deal with that. No, soulmates are a two-way thing, in my opinion. So you're saying, you if the only way the soulmate works, the soulmate things work, if it's you're mine and I'm yours. It can't be that I'm yours and you're somebody else's. Yes, you can. Opposing theory. Yes, you can. And it could also be that they just haven't realized. That is why you don't force people to love beyond the level that they are at. Exactly. Well, Maxi K. Boja, you have to pick a side. Simone is not saying what you're saying. She's saying something else. And you're saying exactly. You need to probably work that out. But yeah, and that is what I was saying though, Simone, is that what if, you're just at another a different level of evolution emotionally than the other person is. You know what I mean? And so you are in a place where you can see clearly enough to see what's what. And them have some stuff that they still need to work out before they get the clarity that you have. You know what I mean? All right. So, like I said, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just trying to stir the pot tonight. I ain't trying to give no solutions or no answers to no questions. I'm trying to make you think about you. I'm trying to make you think about your situation. I gave you some definitions that probably differed from what your definition of what a soulmate is. And I want you to go out there and ponder the notion, right? And see what you come up with and see if that can change what's what. All right. So we're moving right along. You're on the Even People Show. You're with me, and I ain't gonna step into town and not read a poem for you. The poem that I'm gonna read tonight for you is called Conceptual Love. I actually wrote a poem called Soulmate. It's not in the book, so I ain't gonna read it for you. Unlucky. But we're gonna read Conceptual Love because I felt like Conceptual Love should kind of be parallel enough to where we can draw some inferences. Yeah. Let's see where we end up. Conceptual love says, and think about the definitions that we talked about as it relates to a soulmate. It says, it's not always practical. It's not always practical. It's more spiritual. It requires no words. It whispers softly, but never heard. It's nature. It natures and protects, anticipates what's not yet. It's comprehensive in all its ways, moments that seem to last for days. It reassures whenever needed. It's rooted, firmly planted. Its actions are pure. It takes less and gives more. Its influence intoxicates. It fills you up, keeps you up late. It feels so undeniable. No intro needed, no preamble. It's like sailing at night. The wind is warm, the moon is bright. The right words are being said. The right words are being said at just the right time. Two strand, two strands together intertwined. It's that thing you've always sought. If it were for sale, you would have bought. The Mona Lisa of its class, like a fortress built to last. And when you find it, it flows free, and you have it abundantly, like endless leaves on a tree, made better only by reciprocity. Yet, after all that it is, it's in fact brand new still, with several dimensions left to grow. Until you felt it, you just don't know. The end. That's it. That is conceptual love. And conceptual love, I think, ties very well into our little definitions that we have thrown out there for what a soulmate is. It says, let me see if I can pick some stuff out here. It says it's like sailing in the night. The wind is warm, the moon is bright. The right words said at just the right time. Two strands together intertwined. That's talking about that healing soulmate that we spoke about. You know what I mean? That healing soulmate, that person that is just there in the right time to fill that gap that you need filled in that moment. You know what I mean? It's nat it's it nat it blah. It natures, it nurtures. I don't know. I can't even read my own writing. It nurtures and protects, anticipates what's not yet. It's comprehensive in its ways, moments that seem to last for days. That's that that's that past life soulmate. That's that person that you're with, and moments seem to last for days. That's a person that you're with, and when you're with them, it's almost like there's just a certain level of peace and calm that you experience, that it's almost like you should just spend forever with them. You know what I mean? There's nothing forced, there's nothing rushed, there's no pressure, there's no need to feel like I need to put on or act or take off or be more than or be less than. I'm just so comfortable with this person. This person is almost an extension of my actual self. You know what I mean? This person is like an extension of my actual self. Another stanza, and it says, and when you find it, it flows free, and you have it abundantly, like endless leaves on a tree, made better only by reciprocity. You know what I mean? It I said it. It's something that's special. It's something that's magical. And it, let me pause here for a minute before I wrap up. Like, I spend time doing the evening people show even when I'm tired and not feeling like it and whatever. And I do the evening people show and I talk about the things I talk about in the evening people show, because there's people out there that are not like fully experiencing the things that life have to offer them, especially from a relationship standpoint, especially from a romantic standpoint, especially from just a understand yourself and know what you're about standpoint. You know what I mean? So sometimes when you see me on the even people show and I'm doing what I do and I'm acting and carrying on and all this, it's really just to make some people out there realize that, hey, there's another way to do this whole thing. This thing you're doing, there's another way to do this. And you thinking that you shouldn't reach for or ask for or reach for more, you can. It's okay to do that. It's okay to want more. It's okay to reach for more. It's okay to think that where I'm at is not okay. It's okay to identify that where I've been all this time is not okay and I can change. It's okay to rise up and do something bold. It's okay to love yourself. It's okay to tell somebody that, nah, bruh, no, this is not okay. I don't want this. I'm stepping away. Do you, I'm gonna do me. It's okay to do you. You know what I mean? It's okay to embrace what comes naturally to you. It's okay to feel what you feel, irrespective of whether or not everybody else is feeling it. It is okay to feel what you feel and embrace that. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, that's why we do the Evening People Show. Because some folks out there think they have to line up in a line and do what everybody else is doing. Some people out there are feeling things, and because they don't have any conversations with anybody about the fact that they're feeling it, they think that they're isolated. And they're not isolated. You're not by yourself. You're not alone. There are other people out there feeling the things you're feeling too. That's why I write the kind of poetry I write. That's why I talk about the things I talk about, is to make people realize that, yo, there are other people out there doing what you're doing. There are other people out there feeling what you're feeling. The struggles that you're going through or that you think that you're dealing with in a vacuum are not actually in a vacuum. It might be in your vacuum in your instance, but there are other people out there that are dealing with the same thing too. That's why we do what we do. Is to make you realize that, hey, it's okay to hurt. It's okay to feel. It's okay to say no. It's okay to change. It's okay to evolve. It's okay to reach for what you want. It's okay to say no to what you don't want. It's okay to be more. It's okay to want more. Shoot, it's even okay to want less. You know what I mean? Anywho, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into the Evening People Show. Y'all know me. I'm your host, Martin Matthews. And when I've said what I have to say, it's time to go.